Oh, shoot. Yeah, I have to do this now. Okay. All right. Well, Will is not with us today. He's got some stuff going on. So today it is just me and Sade talking about claws. What is this, episode 11?
I think this is episode 8. Yeah.
Shit. I keep forgetting we've talked about it in almost every episode. Yeah, episode 8.
Yeah.
There's only 10 this season, so there's 2 more.
Yes.
And this one was called What is Happening to America? And it was directed by Carrie Preston, who plays Polly, which was very cool.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, we were super
cool.
pumped about that. So yeah, I guess just first thoughts. How did you feel about it?
Overall, I liked the episode.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm basically just ignoring that brief period of time where I was very doubtful what was going to happen this season. It never happened.
I'm also trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did like the episode. At first, I was a little worried when they started doing the white supremacist thing again. I was like, oh no, they're going to be a thing. Like, ugh. But it made sense in the episode because obviously they brought him back so they could steal from him, right?
Yeah, and I think they're not really making them a thing so much as they're making them the butt of jokes, which
true.
I like a lot.
Yeah,
and then that they were stealing all the Nazi memorabilia so that they could sell it and pay off their debt. That was hilarious.
And their like incognito attire, each one of them, like
I know.
Just like Desna didn't really do that much, especially because she wore a hoodie, but she made sure that it wasn't zipped up all the way. And then her shirt was also a V-neck, so it's like she was always showing cleavage no matter what.
Yeah, tits out no matter what. And she was wearing like not even very dark sunglasses.
No, they were faded. Like you could like definitely still see her face. I thought Bryce looked kind of funny too because he didn't really do much except for like
no,
like I don't know.
I don't understand what these people think they're doing with sunglasses. That's not enough. And then Virginia was like her exact self, except for she had the top part of a balaclava on.
Yeah, and that had like rhinestones on it.
Yeah, this is not how undercover works, you guys. Jen was the only one who was covering her face with a bandana.
Exactly. Oh, that whole part, like, especially when they were running out, it made me, I know they were playing like a different music. I think it was like maybe some type of like gospel music, but it made me think of like yakety sax, like the na 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 na, like that type of music, the way they were running out, because I was just like, how are you all doing this? You've been in trouble so many times and you haven't gotten like skillful at doing anything.
Well, so they haven't gotten skillful at sneaking, and they haven't gotten skillful at like disguises, and they haven't gotten skillful at not leaving a gajillion fingerprints everywhere. Not one of them was wearing gloves.
Exactly. So that's the thing that I just like. Obviously, I'm not mad at it, but it is funny if you start to think about it.
It's super funny.
But yeah, no, it brought me back once they revealed, like, okay, we're going to be stealing from them. Because I was like, oh no, are we going to be doing this? Like,
yeah,
great.
I don't know how much anybody who's listening to this has listened to our previous episodes, but there was something a while back that had Nazis in it. And I was like, I'm just so tired of Nazis on my TV. Because they've never really gone away. Yeah. And now that they're back in real life, everybody feels the need to put Nazis in their TV and their movies and stuff. And I'm like, I literally couldn't want this less than I want it.
Exactly.
It's already happening to me in real life. I don't want it on my TV.
That's kind of the dread I felt when it started to happen. But it recovered, so I was happy with that.
It did. So I guess we probably should, though, with regard to the Nazis, pour one out for Mac, because he got
okay.
He got killed by that white supremacist,
and I was happy. I'm sorry.
No, me too. Okay, look, I don't like Mac, and so I was like, it sucks because I feel like it was a little bit of a waste, but it was actually so great because of what it's done to Melba.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I think Melba is going to be these last 2 episodes, and then presuming that she doesn't die, I think she's going to be much better if she comes back for a season 4. If she's like popping up still. Yeah. Which is one of the only things that Will did tell me, is that he would love if Melba was just like on the bench sometimes, just like ready to jump back in
At this point, I would like that as well. When I thought about it before, I was always considering it to be Mac and Melba. So I was like, no, I'm good. They can end this season. But now that it's just Melba, I'm like, I kind of like her. Yeah. So like, I'm okay with her. I hope that she continues. We'll obviously see where it goes. But yeah, that moment I was like, okay, good. Because I don't know what the heck his whole plot has never been that interesting to me. So I'm kind of happy that they went away with him.
No, I totally agree. And I did want to say, like, I wasn't really sad that he died, but like the way that Melba and the actress playing her were like reacting to it, it made me a little sad that he died. Like, I was feeling exactly what they wanted me to feel in that moment. And I don't know how much of that was the actress, how much of it was Carrie Preston, how much of it is, you know, both or either, or just the writing or whatever. But like that scene was really great when she realized that he was gone and he couldn't like do anything anymore with her. Like they had plans and she kept saying that, and it's just
that was pretty really rough, especially that moment when they kind of look at everybody reacting, kind of just in silence, letting her, you know, obviously grieve, but they were silent, and it was like a reality check. As silly as the show is, it's like, okay, we're really mourning the death of someone, especially at the beginning with oh gosh, I always forget the cop's name, Quiet Ann's wife. Marlene. Okay, so like her death as well really struck Desna. And I think that was the whole entire episode, her having blood on her hands, like, and seeing it the entire episode. And like, it seemed like this was the moment, like her having flashbacks to all the deaths that have happened in this series. It kind of seems like it finally hit her. Like she is in a world and has been part of and committed multiple crimes and deaths.
Yeah. You know what I think is really interesting about this season, and it's only really come to pass the last couple episodes, is I think that Desna and the girls were like pretty protected by the Dixie Mafia stuff, where it was like they knew they were in crime and they could get in trouble. But it was like somehow these last handful of episodes, I think Desna has finally realized the stakes. And with Arlene getting murdered literally basically right in front of her, and she's a cop, and she's like, you know, her best friend's wife, I think she really was like, oh, no one's safe. Where she was like, I've always felt safe and I felt like I could keep the people closest to me safe, but all of a sudden she's like, no, that's not the case at all. And in fact, the people closest to me are the ones that are at the biggest risk of getting hurt the most.
Yeah, I'm very curious what will happen going forward with Quiet Ann, because I can't imagine how she's not going to resent Desna.
I think she definitely is, and you can see in the preview where Desna says something about you all have to own your own mistakes, and Quiet Ann rolls her eyes, and I was like, hey, Desna, maybe you do that first?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the preview, so that sounds, okay, I'm very interested in that. Like,
so that was something I was going to ask. I'm curious. What do you think Quiet Ann is going to do? Do you think she's actually going to try to do anything? Because she was first of all getting lied to the entire episode. Yeah. Where like that was one of the things where Will and I watched it together, which is unusual. We don't usually. And he was like, why is Desna lying? Is she going to come back from the dead? Like what is she hoping to accomplish with this? And so I was really curious about that. I feel like she's going to do something.
I almost feel like Quiet Ann's going to do something. And I think this is going to be, at least I'm assuming, a permanent rift in their friendship. Like they had that bubble up, I think, in season 1, or maybe it was season 2, I forget. I think this is going to be like the thing that breaks them as friends.
Okay, like, that could be for sure.
Yeah, I think she might go along, but I think she can never, like, I don't know how she could ever, because she's pregnant, she was married, they got married, she was happy, this is what she wanted, and she was obviously supporting Desna, but obviously wanted something of her own and to start her own family. And I just can't imagine her being like, well, you know, Desna, it's not your fault. You know,
I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they could try to do that. It just seems very unrealistic for the tensions that they've had before, for her not to be resentful and hold Desna to that, and maybe play along like, oh yeah, I'm here for you, Desna, and then ultimately be like, no, I was waiting it out. Fuck you. Like I just assume that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. I don't know. I mean, Will even mentioned he thought we were in a place where we could lose Quiet Anne.
Oh,
like
wow,
where she
really?
could get killed too. And I was like, I wouldn't. I agree. I think the story could sustain if she weren't there, but I would be so sad not to see Judy Reyes every week.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset as well. And I almost, maybe I'm just having this fantasy. I almost feel like whatever happens, whatever the next thing they get into, I feel like Quiet Anne is going to be on the opposite side. Like she's going to be a rival of Desna's rather than support her. That's what I'm assuming, but who knows? Where this season, I have honestly not been able to call anything. So like,
me too.
Who knows?
Too. Well, and with only 2 left, it's likely we're going to have to wait until season 4 in order to get any actual closure on anything.
Yeah,
so
I think the comparison to Breaking Bad for any time a character has now, like, I guess, broke bad or become the villain or whatever is always there. Like, that's a quick comparison to make. Yeah. But it's the thing that I thought of with Desna that I kind of feel like she, like, I think, Dean at one point was like, oh, my sister, she's a good person, or he said something like, she's a good person, but she's been doing bad things, which is making me question if she's a good person or something like that. Right, I forget how he worded it. And I was kind of like, yeah, first off, finally, I feel like this is a valid reason why Dean shouldn't be near her because he's resentful. Like now this is making more sense. But 2, I think Desna's character, as much as we love her and she's trying to be supportive of her friends, I think she's put people in danger. She's obviously done bad things. She seems a little bit resentful, or not resentful. She seems a little bit remorseful about it now, like the blood on the hands thing. But she's still continuing to do it.
And I think there's a difference between being remorseful and like deciding to change. And I don't think she's deciding to change. She's at every turn going deeper instead of trying to pull out. Because at this point, she could go back to just doing nails. Like, she's not in, nobody's making her work for the Dixie Mafia anymore. The Russians are gone. Melba didn't want her in the casino in the first place. She could easily pull out of all of this, except for now she owes this guy $3 million. But, pay him the $3 million of Nazi crap that you stole and then pull out and your people would be safe. But it's like she keeps digging in and, doubling down and digging her heels in the sand instead.
And at this point now, she's being told that she has to kill Melba. So maybe even if she wanted to get out, she can't because this guy is saying, well, you have to do this or I'm going to kill you type of thing. And he had a picture of Dean. So that's a threat.
Fingers crossed Melba and Desna team up and kill him instead because I'm actually super attached to Melba now. In a way that I think the problem with the season is that it was focusing on Mac and Melba as these villains, and it really weren't coming across that way, and they were too oversized characters to be the villains. And so now that Mac is gone and we do have the villain that's over top of them, settling them into this gray Loki area is way better.
Yeah, I wish they would have brought is the guy, is he the professor? What is his name?
That is his name, I think, isn't it?
I wish they had brought him in just a little bit sooner. And establish, that he was the main bad guy. That would have felt better, in my opinion. But yeah, I do agree. I think Melba is somebody who I did not really care for at the beginning, and now I like alone, her on her own. I still don't know what they're gonna do to resolve this whole tournament that Dean's in, and they want to take his money. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but I thought it was really interesting to go on a little bit of a different topic, but to find out that Dean is now hiring, I don't know what her real name is, but Christina Milian.
Yeah, her credit is just fake Virginia.
Oh, okay. Truly, I was just wait, is that Virginia? And then it was Christina Milian, which I didn't know that Christina Milian and Karuchi Tran are friends in real life.
Oh, funny, because you know what? Will was like, is that Christina Milian? And I was like, I honestly don't remember the last time I looked at her face, so I couldn't tell you. And she wasn't on the credits then, but she is now, and it is definitely her.
Yes.
And I did not know they were friends. That's funny.
I didn't know they were friends either until it took me a second. I was like, is that Christina Milian? And I had to look it up. And as I was looking it up, it came up like, oh, they're friends in real life and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh,
funny.
That's cool. But yeah, that whole thing, I was like, interesting. So he misses Virginia, but he's obviously not willing to stop gambling. So that whole Dean thing, we've expressed it already. I'm kind of over it. I don't know how they're going to end it, but I do understand why he's like questioning, is Desna a good person? I don't know if I want to be around her.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Quick mention of Roller, because now I need to say something good about Roller every episode.
Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, I just loved everything he was doing. I loved the wardrobe change. I think I saw that you tweeted about his look before I had a chance to see it. I was like, ooh, what's she talking about? And then when I saw it, I was like, wow, okay.
The first thing he wears is like a silk floral shirt underneath, like a black with like a really big red, like checked stripe kind of thing on it. And I just was like, that is working in a way that those two patterns don't feel like they should.
Yeah.
And then when they infiltrated the Nazi house, he was wearing a blue seersucker with a bow tie and like a horn-rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
The look, oh my God.
Yeah.
And Jack Kessie was working it.
And I think he's doing a really good job. I don't know if I'm just being like ridiculous, but I think he's doing a really good job. And so, yeah, I just thought that was so interesting that obviously they had to play like they were racist. And clearly he was just like uncomfortable the entire time. Because he's like,
oh, for sure,
didn't obviously agree with any of that. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, none of them do. Even Melba was like, well, because they all have ties to, multiple ethnicities.
Yeah,
like,
they're definitely not people who are like close to a white supremacist at all. Yes. And so.
No, I mean, Uncle Daddy, I would say, is like the most racist. And
I would say that too, yeah.
Even still, he's like playfully racist. He's not like, he's not doing anything about it. He's just saying inappropriate things, in my opinion. But it's like watching the three of them who have these like strong ties have to like toe the line with this horrible man with that horrible haircut and his stupid face. It was just awful.
Yeah, that was interesting. And so, yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was really anything else that happened in this episode. I mean, I guess the main thing is with Polly.
Yeah,
right?
Polly and Joe killed the governor.
Yeah, and Polly, I don't think she's faking this. I think she genuinely is saying that she is accepting the darkness and feels at home with that. Like, oh, I finally realized what I need to do or how I could be more comfortable with myself is embracing this. And it's like, oh.
I really dug that, actually. Yeah. Because it's like her whole deal for, 3 seasons now has been about how she's this like peppy con artist, basically. But those two things are automatically at odds because, like, how can you be so happy-go-lucky and like have that as what you're doing with your life?
Yeah.
And so I like that. I wonder if Carrie Preston's performance is going to even out at all.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I think they probably enjoy her being kooky and like, doing some wild things sometimes. So maybe she'll still do that, but maybe she'll also become more of a like enforcer for Desna.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And that also lends a little bit more credence to like, we could lose Quiet Anne because right now she's Desna's enforcer.
True. Yeah.
Like her and kind of Roller, but it's like if Arlene is able to step up into that position, then that could mean, or I mean, even if Quiet Anne doesn't die, if she just, like you said, maybe moves to the other side, Arlene could step up into that position a little bit, which would be interesting. I'd be interested in that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I guess is Uncle Daddy and him, I guess not pursuing a relationship with Jen's mom. Like
I guess he chose Toby, which I guess, but Toby has been also this weird lost plot / character all season 2. It's I feel like they've lost sight of a couple of their tertiary characters, and Toby is definitely one of them.
Yeah, but, I'm very curious how they're going to bring him back in for these last few episodes.
Yeah, especially because we know and have known the whole time that he's the one that shot at Desna and shot Virginia in the eye.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that should still come back.
I imagine it would have to, especially like Desna is kind of working with Uncle Daddy here and there, but he obviously has been keeping the secret this entire time. So yeah, that will be interesting if that becomes something they reveal.
Yep.
But yeah, I overall, I'm very interested to see where the season will go, the last 2 episodes. And I guess I never really thought about Desna becoming like, obviously, we, the audience, like Desna. The whole story has been told from her perspective, really. Like, I would say she is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with her becoming like the bad person or whatever, I think it's interesting. I'm very curious if she's going to go with it or try to redeem herself or try to change. I don't know.
I mean, I definitely don't see this show turning into like a Breaking Bad type of scenario. Like, I don't think it's too colorful and crazy and zany to quite go there. So I think she could be the actual boss. Like if they get rid of the professor, there's going to be a vacuum. She and Melba could easily step into that if Melba sticks around. But at the same time, the deeper she gets, the less equipped she is for it. So it's not like Walter, where it's like Walter had a pretty good learning curve. He was able to like keep up with the deeper steps that he went in. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to go like full Breaking Bad, but I get what you mean, where like if she embraces it all the way, then she could. But in that instance, she, I think, would lose all the rest of the girls.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like that they're all supportive of her, but I don't know how they all can remain being supportive of her. Like, I think Quiet Anne would have to be maybe one of the few people who's like, I can't be with you anymore because of what you've done to my life.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see how it plays out in the next 2 episodes.
Yes.
But yeah, we will definitely be back next week with episode 9.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.